Gamers all around the world, today we take a look at StormGate. It's finally announced. Today what I'm going to discuss are actually quite a few things. We're going to go over the trailer, we're going to go over the screenshots, we're going to discuss what they said in interviews, and I'm just kind of going to, give my opinion on all the takes. I actually had to watch 2 different interviews that were about 3 hours long, so I can make notes of what I can and cannot say, because I didn't know what was open publicly and what's not, because, I did have a little sneak peek at the game, a little bit more info, so I had to look to make sure I don't overshare. With that being said, let's get into the trailer, and let's get into the other stuff right after.
This is Command. Storm's in your way. Prepare for extraction.
Signal's breaking up. Command, I'll do one last scan. See you soon. Over. Okay, hurry. Now we're talking. Command, I may be onto something. I have it, Command. Repeat, I have it. Mission accomplished.
Hang tight, Doc. I've got this.
Glad you could make it.
We gotta move. Now. There's a storm coming.
Alright.
Hell's coming with it.
Alright, so I'm always honest, and I'm gonna be honest here as well. The trailer was not received too well. The sound is a little bit off. I think we can all agree with that. And honestly, I thought the trailer was really good until this point. This is also good. This is good. This is fine. Great. I think until this point the trailer was great. Then the fighting scene is a little weird. The robot moves weird. I personally didn't like it. The audio is a bit weird. The story, you don't know much about the story. It's just the start, right? And what I personally dislike is there is no damage being done to either of them. There's no, not necessarily blood, but there's no damage being done. I don't see it, right? I see he's hitting, but nothing's showing. So for example, what I would have liked, this was fine too. This was fine, whatever. Now when the shooting starts is where it kind of goes down. What I would have liked, right?
Hang tight, Doc. I've got this.
Now when he starts smashing the robot, I thought it looks good, but why is there no cracks on the robot's armor? Like, why doesn't it start breaking? I think the Infernal should have hit it more violently. Like, it's an Infernal. It's like an alien, beast, animal. It's evil. You know, it should be like, it should have more anger. But it kind of hits like a noodle. You know what I mean? Look now. Look what I mean with it. It hits off well the first time, but then it's kind of weak. Like, I was expecting it's gonna smash it and it's gonna start, you know, those kinds of things. But it's not the biggest deal. Like, it's a trailer, okay? I will say it did not get received too well. I don't know about you guys. I don't care too much about the trailers, right? I think that trailer can be hype and it can, you know, get the game rolling and all that. But I'm not like, oh, I didn't like the trailer perfectly, like that's it, I'm gonna quit kind of thing, right? I think what is important is the gameplay. That's the number one thing, the gameplay. And obviously, we don't have gameplay yet, but I will be talking about what we do know and my opinion on it. Now, before we jump into that, there's some screenshots from the game that I'll be showing you guys as well. So there's, I couldn't find the full version. There's this screenshot, and then we got this one in the end. So I think this screenshot is the best quality-wise. I feel like this is probably the closest you're gonna get to the game. What it looks like from the aerial point of view, and you can see the two different races. A lot of people did not like the art because it's too cartoony, it's too this, it's too that, right? I personally think that the art looks good. It looks clean. And that's what I like. I think that it's going to be very easy to differentiate units. It's going to be very easy to differentiate what's where and which unit is standing where. And I know we're far from it, and I might be wrong, but that's what the way the units look and the design kind of tells me. You can clearly see which unit is which, right? Which I think a lot of RTS games suffer from. This is probably also a bit zoomed in, right, in the game. But when the games zoom out, it's very hard to differentiate a unit. And this is something that StarCraft 2 and Warcraft 3 do really well. Where you can clearly see which unit is which, right? You don't struggle seeing what is a Marauder, what is a Marine, what is a Ghost, right? You know what it's at. So I thought that looks fine. Now this screenshot makes it look a lot more mobile game, more like League of Legends. I personally think it's the lighting. Because you can see these units are the same units as previous ones. These ones look more, just nicer, and I think it is lighting that's affecting it at the end of the day. Who knows, right? It looks vibrant. I do think it looks good. I personally was always more into brighter colors and vibrant colors than dark stuff where it's like emo and I can't see anything, right? And I just want to say one thing. A lot of people are like, oh my god, this is not what I imagined. Guys, let me show you something, okay? What you just saw, the screenshot, the game is not out. That is pre-alpha, okay? And it looks like that. If the game looks like that pre-alpha, sign me up, okay? Do you know what most games look pre-alpha? Terrible. Let me show you one game. Do you know what game this is? If you think this is StarCraft 1, it's not. This is StarCraft 2 pre-alpha. Look what it looks like. It looks like shit. Now let's compare it to this one. They're very different. I think we can all agree that this looks way cleaner, way better. Maybe you don't like the artwork, like the way it's heading, but you can't say it looks worse, right? It looks much smoother, cleaner, nicer, prettier. This is pre-alpha, and they've said a lot of times, and I'll repeat it for them. All these things are subjected to change in a better way, right? That there's still work to be done. These are not maybe the final models. They might make them better. It's definitely not going to become worse, right? They're not going to make it 360p, right? It's going to only get better. And if this is pre-alpha, I like it. Now, there's also been a lot of... Again, we'll go with the bad and then we'll go into the good. So there's a lot of complaints about the artwork saying, oh, it's just StarCraft, it's Zerg and Terran. On one side, people want the same thing, aka StarCraft. On the other side, people want something completely different. So a lot of people compared it to, I don't know, like Warhammer or Warcraft or StarCraft. Like, guys, they can't invent, like, we've had games for like 50 years, okay? Sci-fi has been out for a billion years. I'm not sure what people expected, right? But like, humans are humans, you know? Mech is mech. They can't, like, unless they put humans with 2 heads and call them humans, right? Humans are humans. Infernals are infernals. If they decide to go with the tree people, guess what? Tree people are gonna look like tree people. You know what I mean? And obviously they're going to have similarities with other games because tree people are tree people. Orcs are orcs. You know what I mean? Like, StarCraft didn't invent humans or Terrans, just like Zerg was seen before in other games as beasts, as, you know, demons, devils, whatever. So yeah, it has similarities with other RTS games. No shit. It's an RTS. Yeah, I personally like it. And I think this is part of a bigger picture that I'm going to be talking about later, which is appealing to the broader masses. So let's talk about campaign. So like I said, I went to 3 hours of interviews to make sure I don't say something I shouldn't or reveal something that they didn't say. So I got some notes down what they said so we can discuss it and I don't goof something. So let's talk about campaign first. They said they're going to have different mods for the game. They're going to have campaign, co-op, one-on-one multiplayer, and 3v3 multiplayer. I think that's it. So regarding the campaign, they said it's going to be story-driven, which means it's going to be building up on top of each other, I'm assuming. And each chapter will introduce, like each chapter, I'm assuming each campaign release, right? That's what chapters usually mean, or I don't know, like each different campaign. We'll introduce new heroes. It's going to have like new plots, new characters added to it. So it's going to build up on one another, so to say. So it's going to have like longevity in terms of story. And I'm assuming they have story planned out for many years and not just like for the release and that's it, right? So long term, that's great for campaign. And they mentioned they're going to have heroes that you can level in campaign. So what it seems like is that one-on-ones, co-op, 3v3s, and campaign are going to be very different to one another in the way they play. The units might be the same, but in campaign, there might be a hero unit. In multiplayer, the heroes might be weaker. So I think that's great. One thing that a lot of RTSs do badly, most of them to be honest, is a one-on-one and a 2v2 is the same thing. Right? It's just 4 players compared to 2 players. It's not different in any way. It's the same thing, right? So what they're trying to do is basically have 4 game mods that are giving you different experience. And I personally think that's great because you might appeal to 4 different audiences and they know what they're doing. And that's why they're doing it, right? Because a lot of RTS games are focused on, let's say, one-on-one. And if you don't like it, sucks for you, right? So they know what they're doing, they gave it a lot of thought, and they figured we should just make 4 games, I don't know why I did this, 4 games into one, while having different experiences in each one of them, and everyone can find what they want, and this is like the RTS to go to. So another great thing about campaign is something that when I've talked with them and, you know, in the interviews that I've watched, you can play co-op campaign, which is great. Very, very few games do this. And why is this great and why is this very important? Well, if you want masses to start playing and if you want RTS to be great again, you need masses. I don't mean masses from StarCraft 2 or from Warcraft 3. You need masses that are not playing RTS right now. So what does co-op campaign give you and what does it allow you? Well, it allows you to have Joe that loves RTS games and his friend Bob hates RTS games because Bob is just not into RTS. But this way, you will have Joe say like, hey Bob, let's play StormGate. And he's like, I don't like RTS games, they're too hard, I don't like playing one-on-ones because everyone thinks of RTS as one-on-one. And Joe will say, but we can do campaign together, co-op, and we can invite Billy as well. And then Billy and Bob, that are noobs, are going to be led by Joe, which I'm assuming they will make a campaign very introductory kind of thing, where Joe can kind of carry Bob and Billy, and they can all have a good experience while he explains the game to them. And this is a big problem that exists in current RTS games, that introduction. How do people transition into something? They don't know. They just get thrown on the map and here you go, play. You don't know anything. So I know this is something that they've focused quite a lot over the past 3 years. And I hope they make the campaign co-op a very good way to introduce Bobs and Billies out there to the game and help them kind of ease into trying out other mods instead of just throwing them a town center and a villager and it's like, okay, go play. It's like, what do I build, right? And I'm sure that's going to be the case because, like I said, when I talked to them, that was their goal and that was something that was very important to them. So I think that's great. Next thing is co-op 3v3s. So there's another mod that will be in the game that is co-op 3 versus 3. So from what I've gathered, by the way, just to tell you guys, I did not play it. I did not see gameplay. I did not play it. So I know a lot of people are gonna ask me. I don't know. Didn't play it. So 3v3 co-op. So this will not be a one-on-one with 6 players, okay? It's not gonna be a regular one-on-one match. You just have 6 players thrown in it. From what they've said in their interviews, this is going to be a mod that's obviously it's in StormGate, but it will have the units, but it will be more focused with mechanics from co-op rather than one-on-one gameplay. So what this sounds like to me is this will be more hero oriented, not like MOBA, maybe like MOBA, maybe like RTS MOBA, I don't know, but something that's a lot easier mechanically, something that you can play with your friends, and again, something that Bob and Billy can play and not stress about one-on-ones. So I personally think that's great. Anyone who is upset about this, you are you're wrong, because this is how you get them casuals. Okay, this is how you lure them casuals, right? Because this is a great mod for, once again, to introduce your friends to the game, but also have people that are not interested in one-on-ones play the game and make the game bigger, make the game more successful, yada yada. So there was a lot of mention of that 3v3 co-op, not so much being as I'm making units, let's attack here. It's more of a, it seems like it's going to be more Warcraft 3-ish oriented, where there's going to be maybe certain auras or buffs you can give to your allies, something that you need to work together to achieve a common goal, instead of 3 guys like killing 1 guy and he's just like, Bob, Billy, and they just don't know what they're doing, right? So I'm imagining it's going to be, if you guys played League of Legends, like something like Dominion, but in an RTS form, I would imagine. Again, I have no info, so I don't know. But I think that is great. And they said that this is something that they want to keep as a fun mode. But if it turns out to be competitive, they will think about making it competitive. Again, I think that's great. And this is all aimed for the release, by the way. This is not like we're gonna make it in 4 years. Dominion wasn't fun, lol. Well, I'm not saying it's... Oh my God. I'm just saying it's a... I'm just comparing League of Legends 5.5 to Dominion. It's a different thing. It's in the same game, but it's a different thing. That's what I'm trying to say. I'm not saying it's literally like Dominion. So, next. One-on-ones and what it means. They've said many times they want the one-on-ones to remain, because I think there were worries that this is going to be like a MOBA, like super focused on magic and casters and heroes, and they've said it over and over that one-on-ones will be RTS, like StarCraft, like an RTS where you have a battle where you're fighting other armies, resources, you're fighting over resources, expanding. So that's what the one-on-ones are going to be focused like, and that's what one-on-ones are going to be, a more of a general RTS. Regarding factions, there are currently 2 factions. So there are the humans. There we go. Humans that are like mech, humans mech kind of thing, and then you have the Infernals, which are basically like demons. And in one of the interviews, I heard that they said, the question was, so they're going to be two factions or two races, I don't know what to call them, and they said 3 or more. So I think, again, I'm gonna have to confirm this with them, but they said it's what it seems to be. There's going to be at least 3 races on release, and possibly more. So the way they say "and more" in the future seems to me that it's not going to be like StarCraft will release 3 races and that's it. It seems to be that they will be releasing races maybe every year, every 2 years. So there's good sides to this, there's bad sides to this. Bad sides to this are obviously balance. Good sides to this is it's just way more fun to have multiple races, especially if they're completely different. And I think they might be going somewhere between 4 and 8, maybe even 4 and 10 races in the long run. Now, one thing that I'm very, very curious about, and if there's anyone from StormGate watching this, I would love to know this. And I did the last time I saw the little sneak peek, I actually didn't ask this when I could have, but I really wonder if the races are supposed to be played like StarCraft 2 races, in a way of you pick one race and that's your race for life because it's that complicated, or are the races going to be more like Age of Empires 4, where you can kind of swap between races pretty easily, aka how complicated and complex will the races be to play? On one hand, I am excited if it's like you pick one and you main one, but I gotta say, after playing Age of Empires 4, I really hope that the races are not having that extremely complicated macro mechanics so that you can't play other races. After playing Age of Empires 4, I think it's really fun being able to switch and play other races, civs, factions, whatever you want to call it. So that's one question that I would love it have answered. Obviously, people will be able to play multiple races, but I mean, at the top level, is their goal for people to stick to one or to, you know, be able to play multiple? So yeah, I'm looking forward. I mean, they got humans, they got the Infernals. I'm assuming the third faction, again, I have no info on this. I'm assuming the third faction is going to be something like nature, kind of earthy, or maybe like robots, because that's, you know, the 3 common races at the start of every game, right? There's humans, there's like demons or aliens, and then you got robots or earth kind of trend, you know, whatever. So we'll see. Next thing we're going to be talking about is the map editor. So they mentioned many times that the map editor will be extremely accessible. One huge issue with map editors in every RTS game is that they're terrible. And that is a big issue. Why is it terrible? Well, unless you've invested tens and hundreds of hours, you won't be able to create a map very easily, and even then they're so complicated that it takes you so long to learn. I opened a map editor once and I closed it because I couldn't be bothered. They said the map editor is going to be extremely easy to use, extremely accessible, which is great because then more people are going to be into map making and creating those things instead of now very few people in every game, because like I said, it takes a lot of time to get into it. One thing that they said, which I'm not sure if I misunderstood, but they want to be able to create a map and then have a button where it puts you directly into gameplay of that map, and then jump out of it to change something if you need to, and then jump back in, which I thought was pretty cool. Again, I might be misunderstanding this, but that sounded very cool. So yeah, I know a lot of people don't care about this necessarily, but having a good map editor is what creates custom games, arcade games, competitive maps, and everything else. And the easier that is to use, the better it is for the game in the long run. And yeah. Another thing they talked about is esports, right? Esports is important. I know not everyone thinks esports is important. I do think so. I do think that, I mean, I think everything is important, right? From marketing to monetization to, which we'll talk about in a bit, to esports, to campaign, to co-op, team games. I think all of that is important. You can't just focus on one thing, and I think they know that as well, which is why they're focusing on everything. And there's been a lot of worry that, oh no, they're going to focus on one-on-one, so the campaign's going to be shit. I can tell you one thing without revealing too much. They want to have all 4 modes equally important. They want to work on all of them, and they don't plan to ditch one after a month, okay? I disagree with Beastyqt. The editor should offer a lot of features. did I say that the editor should offer 2 features? Having an editor that is easy to use doesn't mean it's bad. It means it's easy to use. You can still have million things in it, but it's easy to use. Editors right now are extremely complicated and not intuitive at all. So it needs to offer a lot of features and be easy to use. Current editors offer a lot of features and they're terrible to use. So, esports is planned from the start. They said they want the esports scene to start from the very beginning. I don't know if this is going to be like a day one thing where 2 weeks in we have a tournament, right? But I'm assuming that, you know, they have stuff pre-planned already, how the esports is going to go. I don't know if they're going to go with leagues, with tournaments, something like StarCraft, region-based. I have no idea. One thing that that they've also mentioned a couple of times is they are building the game not as a, and I thought this was very important to say, and a lot of people paid attention to it. A lot of the games these days are made as a box packaged game. So what I mean by that? Well, they create a game like this, right? And they sell it to you, and that's it. We might do an expansion, right? We might add a layer later, but this is the game. So you shouldn't complain. You bought this and that's the game. They mentioned many times that they have made the game and in the engine that they're using as well, so that the game can constantly be worked on, which I don't know how much you guys know about programming and stuff, but depending how the game is made on start determines a lot of the possibilities that will end up happening in the future, which is why one of the reasons why StarCraft had difficulties adding a lot of stuff, including chat very early on, or not chat, but better chat boxes and all that, because it was built as a boxed package, right? They sold it to you and that was done. And they mentioned a few times that they're making this so that stuff can be built on, stuff can be upgraded, which is very, very important. Now, so esports is planned. Maybe Beastyqt back to pro gaming. Who knows? We'll see. Now, RTS dead. They've received that, that discussion question in one of the interviews that I watched, and they compared it to basically, and they discussed it with StarCraft 2, saying that, StarCraft 2 was a great game. It had a stable player base over many, many years. The problem is, because of no easy tutorials, which was something I talked about earlier, and Bob and Billy, there was no way for people to introduce their friends and new players into the game. They think that the co-op campaign and co-op 3v3 is a solution to this, and I also agree. Is it going to produce 200 million users? I don't know, but it is definitely a huge step up from the RTS games, and people will definitely be playing it more with their friends than I think they did StarCraft 2, and I hope they make that as accessible as I feel like Warcraft 3 was with custom games. I think a lot of people, at least I did when I was younger, I played a lot of custom games with my friends, and I never played StarCraft 2 custom games or arcades for 2 reasons. Number one is because it's not very intuitive and, easy to get into. It just feels different. And number 2 is because I have no friends. So when is beta coming? Beta is coming in 2023. I don't know if it's beta or closed beta, but as soon as next year. They said that they want to make sure there's no bugs, there's no balance issues, there's no problems in the game, and they just want to make sure it's smooth, it's nice, and they get it all sorted. So I think you can sign up, or not think, you can already sign up for beta at their website, which someone's going to link it in the chat. My chat from the screen died off. I don't know why. Streamlabs is amazing. So yeah, beta is 2023. I'm excited for it. And last thing, but not least important, is how much money is this going to cost? It's free. And this is where I go on a rant. People were molding that it's free to play. What do you people want? When StarCraft was a purchasable game, people were molding that you gotta buy it. They made it free to play. They're like, yeah, it's free to play. They made the game free to play. People are like, oh my god, it's free to play. This is making me worried. This is making me really worried. What are you worried about? It's free to play. It's not like you're gonna spend money to try it out. Try it out, and if you don't like it, see you later, alligator. You know what I mean? It's like, dude, I swear, people are gonna find anything to complain about. How can you complain about something that's free to play? That it's free to play. That's like someone giving you an apple, and you're not complaining they're giving you an apple. You're complaining that the apple is free. Because you're worried it's gonna have worms inside. Then don't eat it! Anyway. So, the game is free to play. Which I think is great. That's a bad take. No, it's not. No, it's not. Games, listen to me. Every game that is free to play will be almost always, more successful than paid games. League of Legends is free to play, okay? Look at League of Legends. I guarantee you, if League of Legends was purchase, gamed, and play, that shit would be dead. That would be dead, okay? Free to play is the way to go. This is something that I'm sure they gave insane amounts of thoughts to, and they discussed this probably a crap load, and there's basically a couple of options. Now, I know this is going to come as a shocker to a lot of people, right, in my chat and a lot of people online, but gaming companies aren't charity works. They have to make money in order to function. For some reason, whenever a gaming company makes money, people get upset. People genuinely get upset. How could they put this in? Well, they don't eat air, okay? They gotta make money so they can continue updating the game. That is how business works. I know it's crazy. It's like if you go to a store, you gotta buy something so they can refill the stock, and then you can buy it again or use it again or play it again or whatever, right? It's the same with games. Now, there's different ways of getting that money. The scummy way, the mobile games, Diablo Immortal, shout out. You only need $100,000 per season per character to get your bis loot. Very nice, very good model. Bobby is happy. That's the scummy model, right? And I disagree with that 100%. Now, in my opinion, the other two models are, you will either purchase the game, but that will be a done deal, and the incentive for them to do more becomes less. And this is an issue in a lot of games these days. They sell a game, a beta, pre-release. You know, it's not beta anymore, it's pre-release. They sell the game, and they're like, look at all this money I got. Well, we don't actually need to do more content. We can just kind of be lazy because we got paid. So why would we do more? You know? And most companies do that. And you can look at it on Steam. So many games that are like pre-release sold, the developers don't give a shit after. They already made money, right? There's no incentive for updates. It's true. So, in my personal opinion, and I'm glad they went with this one, the game is free to play, not pay to win. So you cannot purchase your marine doing more damage, right? You cannot purchase something for competitive that makes you do more damage, or your units, new units. Like, it's not one of those games where you'll have cards and you purchase cards and this card is better than that card. So they've said this, and they're not going to have NFTs Omega Lul. It's not going to be pay to win, but there will be purchasable campaign. I'm assuming purchasable heroes, and I'm assuming purchasable skins. I don't know how important heroes are in the game, so I don't know how impactful they are. I don't know if they're going to be heroes for co-op. I don't fucking know, right? But I'm completely fine with it, right? And you know why this is great? You tried a game. You like it? Keep playing it. You want to support it? Purchase a campaign. You don't want to support it? That's fine. Keep playing it. You tried, you don't like the game? Don't play the game. No one's making you buy anything. No one's making you do anything. If you don't want to spend your money, you don't have to. And that's the important part. As long as they don't time gate stuff with money, as long as they're not selling upgrades to units, I don't care. I don't care. When I played StarCraft, when they released war chests, when they released campaigns, I bought all of it. I bought all the heroes. Why? Because I enjoyed it. I wanted to support StarCraft, and I thought it was good content, right? A lot of people might not like it. You might think the skins or campaign is super expensive. That's fine. Remember, you don't have to do it, right? I want to re-emphasize this. You don't need to do these things. But I would rather have them, in a way, if campaigns are purchasable. Let's say, I don't know, again, I have no info. Let's say they release 2 campaigns a year, or I don't know, 2 sections of I don't know how that would work. Let's say they release 2 campaigns a year. They have to make good campaigns, right? Because people need to purchase the campaigns. So in a way, it guarantees that they will put effort into the campaigns, right? Because if it's not good, no one's gonna buy it. It's that simple. So in a way, every content that's optional or bonus, making it purchasable, not every, I don't know if every content is going to be purchasable, I'm just saying, like campaign, is completely optional, and it incentivizes them to do a better job at making those campaigns. Because if they make a shit campaign that's rushed and it sucks, no one's going to play it, right? That's my opinion on that. Again, I don't know what they're selling. I don't know what the game is going to be all about. Like I said, I don't know if this is one of the heroes on the screen or it's not. I don't know if there's going to be commanders for co-op. I don't know any of these things. I'm just saying that it seems like they're going with the model like StarCraft 2, and I personally don't mind that model. If you mind it, you don't need to pay for it. Remember that. You don't gotta pay. First chapter campaign will be free, says Cascade Fury in the chat. Okay, I don't know if that's the case because I didn't see that, but if that's the case, that's great. I think that's great. Wait, StarCraft 2 is free? It is free. So, with all that being said, there has been a lot of hype for the game. There's been a lot of hype for the people behind the game, which I think so far are doing a great job. There's a bunch of interviews if you want to know more. I saw that did an interview with Winter. They did an interview with someone else from StarCraft 2 community. They've done a bunch of interviews. You can check them out more in depth talking about it. Again, you know, if someone is going to say I'm being paid to do this, I'm not. I think they know what they're doing, I hope. And I think their goals are in the right mindset, what they want, what to expect. And it seems that they're not going to release a pre-alpha, pre-release game that is just like not going to work, as most of the games these days are, which I'm very, very happy about. And I would rather have them delay to 2024, the game, and have it released nicely than have a disorganized crap of a game that needs to be updated regularly or has bugs or whatever. You know, just like old Blizzard. Like I'm talking old Blizzard, right? Take your time, make a game, and then release it. People are still gonna be here. So now, am I hyped for the game? I am. I'm not hyped for it more than I am right now. It's because I haven't seen the gameplay. Gameplay is what excites me. Screenshots, I think this looks pretty. Like I said, but that's it. It looks pretty. Trailer, I don't care about. Trailer is it's like reading a conversation after a campaign mission. I don't care about it. I'm not too much of a lore guy. Even if the lore sucks, I personally don't care. I'm there for the gameplay, and if the gameplay is fun, that's all that matters to me. I know other people will feel different about that, and you know, that's fine as well. One thing to note is a lot of creators and a lot of streamers and a lot of casters will be going to this game, and pro players. It doesn't matter which game you come from, there's going to be a huge surge of people into this game. Even if the game is a little bit different from your average RTS style like StarCraft 2, this game will have, in my opinion, a lot of players because it will have a lot of hype behind it. And because so many personalities, like I said, streamers, pro players, casters are going to be in it, because most of the RTS gaming communities are very stagnant and they're not growing, which is true. Whether it's StarCraft, Warcraft, AoE, they're not growing. They're there. They got their own players, and that's it. And I think everyone's gonna see StormGate as a game where they can pop off as a new opportunity. You know, maybe you were top 30 player in the game, but this is the game where you can probably pop off and be a pro gamer and stuff like that. So I think everyone's going to be trying to get in on it super early and try to get the most out of it. So yeah, with that being said, obviously I will be playing it when it comes out. Am I going to switch to it fully? I don't know. That depends on the game. If the game is good, maybe. If the game is bad, no. So that's it. I'm going to wrap this one up. If you're watching on YouTube, I want to thank you guys so much for watching. Again, you can sign up for the beta at StormGate's website, which I'm sure is going to be linked in the YouTube. And also make sure to follow them on Twitter for more updates. Anyway, let me know what you guys think on YouTube. Twitch gamers, we're going to discuss now. YouTube gamers, thank you for watching. Have a great day, morning, and night. And I'll see you next time.